first.
All right. Want to welcome everybody, and this is our continuation meeting, March 22nd. If our clerk could just go through roll call for
Morris? Cole?
here.
Edwards?
Here.
Leek?
Here.
Leek?
Here.
Casanello?
Here.
Gannon?
Here. Great. Okay. First item on our agenda is our amendment to our adopted budget. So this is our public hearing. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and call for anyone that would be in favor or opposed our public hearing and go ahead and open that. And seeing no one is willing to come up here, so we'll go ahead and, with no objection, close our public hearing. And we'll go to our first action item, which is our budget amendment.
No. I move that the Haymarket Town Council approve an amendment to the fiscal year 2017-18 capital improvements budget, moving $72,500 from the Haribo Park Master Plan to the Town Center Master Plan.
Second.
Motion on the floor, seconded by Councilman Cole. Discussion on the motion. Anyone?
Yes,
Vice Mayor.
just my own opinion, but I think it's been a disappointment that we've done nothing with the town property, the community park. And I understand that we have to pay for bills that were previously charged and to complete this. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that I was extremely disappointed that we didn't do something with some of that money in the park this year. Thank you.
Anyone else would like a discussion on the motion? We could have a roll call vote, please.
Morris? Cole?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Leek?
Yes.
Casanello?
No.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Our next item is our amendment to our amending the minutes of our February 5th meeting. And for just a little clarification, during our last meeting, we had a motion that I'll go ahead and read. Motion moves to approve the minutes by Councilman Leek. It was seconded by Councilwoman Edwards. In asking for discussion on the minutes, Vice Mayor states, I had a couple of comments that I shared with the clerk pending the inclusion of those comments about the discussion related to transitional commercial, and would it be okay with the minutes as they are? I would be okay with the minutes as they are. Mayor states, I assume that they are, and I guess Vice Mayor interrupted basically and states that we will work together, referencing to the clerk and council. We have about 5 yeas and 1 abstention from Councilman Cole. So the discussion on the original motion, I guess, referred to Vice Mayor wanting the transcript of the discussion to be added in there. Typically, we would, the process typically would be that if there was a change in the motion, that you would ask to amend the motion, and then the person making it and the person seconding it would then agree to the amendment to it. So I think the cleanest thing would do is to be able to just make a new motion. Well, the motion stood, I think, as, I mean, it's not a bad motion that way it went through, but obviously to have this additional input in there, it'd probably be better if we had a motion to add this transcript of the exact wording that Vice Mayor would like to have in there, and that way then it could be added, or amended to the motion.
Mayor, would it be to add it, or would it be a motion to reconsider? Because the motion already on the floor had already passed through the dais. So I believe it would need to be a motion to reconsider to pull the adopted minutes back,
And add this to it.
and then re-add that, adding that portion.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That would be fine, yep.
Move to reconsider the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Can we just, can we make sure that we have the date of the exact minutes? Just
Move
make-
to reconsider the minutes of the February 5th, 2018 Town Council regular meeting.
And
Second.
Second, okay. Discussion on that? We understand what we're doing? We're basically pulling them back off? Okay, we can go, all in favor? say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, great. So that carries unanimously.
Furthermore, Your Honor, I make a motion that we include the text that's been presented to the council tonight as part of the new approved minutes from
Second.
5 February 2018.
Second.
Okay, motion seconded by Councilwoman Edwards. Discussion on this motion? All right, let's go roll call vote just for clarity.
Morris, Cole.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
Leak.
Yes.
Passanello.
Aye.
Shannon.
Yes.
All right, great. That kind of cleans up a little housekeeping there. All right, our next item, I think we didn't have also on our thing the DBP, and I think there has been a couple updates on that I just wanted to speak on. So as we remember, the DVP last, it was in Richmond, got passed, the governor signed it. It looks like DVP has not put in an application or plan yet for this, bearing it as of today, I think. In speaking to Supervisor Canlin, as we probably saw in the news yesterday, the Board of County Supervisors kind of basically backed down. Their feeling on that is that it looks like the county would rather see this underground. They feel that they've got a win there, and they would like to continue with that momentum, I believe. Our biggest concern now for the town, I see, is with the fairgrounds being proposed site plans and stuff like that, is where are these wires going to come up, and how are they going to cross over our landscape as it goes across the divergent diamond or in that area and makes its way up to the Amazon Center or the new substation that. So I think now more than ever, I think the town needs to really be looking and working with DVP2 or DVE to see those specific, where these poles are going to come in, where they're going down, and how they're coming back up.
I had a meeting with Ms. Lockhart, the town planner, about another item, and she had stated to me that Dominion had met with the potential property owner at the fairgrounds, and they had a discussion, so I think there is a plan, but yes, we need to be brought in the loop as to all the other particulars and where it's going to go.
Yep. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
But it would be nice to see it.
I don't know if it's actually been drafted yet. I mean, the plan that was discussed at the meeting was, they were gonna get together and, we're gonna try to keep the outside perimeter of the property, as I understand it, closest to the 66 side. Where it goes from there, I'm not sure, but, they had agreed to, is it not what? Is that a?
Agree?
Yeah, it's green. Does that work? Oh, there you go. Sorry.
Gringo.
They were going to let them actually on the site and look at some options as to where to put the vaults and everything for the undergrounding. So they were very amenable to Dominion. I mean, they were very amenable to the concerns of the developer and some of the parking pads and some of those things that they were concerned that they might interfere with. So it was a good meeting. They had like 7 representatives here from Dominion Power. So.
Do we know when we're going to even get briefed on the fairgrounds?
For like an update on them?
Well, aren't they coming to us to brief us
The
on what their
last
plans are?
date that I was given was the 28th was the,
Yeah, so we got the message as far as today from the current owner, Guy Gravitt, that they're still waiting to remedy the concerns, and they're hoping to have it done by next Wednesday.
Okay.
And if it does not fall through, then he feels that BM Smith and Company is going to take the site plan and now go forward with it, and we'll be working with Emily to push that forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a couple questions about this. So do we know, so are we saying that it wasn't closed, this property hasn't been closed yet?
It hasn't closed now.
Okay. Is the negotiation between the future property owner and DVP, is that going to be a dependency, do we know?
I think they've had it.
Work out?
Actually, that's what they had.
In terms, you
In-
mean
in-
the
in
closing
term-
of the property, is that a
Yeah.
factor? No, I don't gather that.
So
That's not-
we think they're going to go forward with it regardless of what Dominion does.
Yeah, I don't think the Dominion's entering into the problems with closing it, no.
No.
That wasn't the issue,
No,
from what
there
I
was-
understood.
there was
Issue. What is the issue?
It's not
Right,
public
it's-
knowledge.
I don't know
Yeah.
what the issue is.
They just said that they need to remedy.
Oh, okay, so that's between those two.
That's between
Yep.
the
So-
seller and the buyer. Yeah.
So what I remember of the undergrounding, it was 3.1 miles underground, I think, 2.2 overhead. And it was supposed to be overhead at the fairgrounds?
It's not planned to be overhead at the fairgrounds.
Oh,
no.
so the issue is even, it'll transverse the fairgrounds, but it might be underground there?
It will be underground, it's my
Oh.
understanding.
Oh, okay, so
But it
it's-
won't
that's,
go above
that's
ground
good to know.
Over the
Yeah.
Virgin Diamond.
Yeah, it goes back up. Where
So-
exactly, I'm not
So
sure.
then what that tells me is there has to be some type of a switching station in that area. Because when you go to underground to overhead, you have to have that
Yeah, you can't just
transition
go back around,
point, yeah,
Remember in our early
yeah.
talks with DVP,
Yeah.
they actually showed that switching on the fairgrounds property, that's switching coming out, coming back overhead, and then shooting across kind of diagonally and up through around Walmart and over. Now, that's not the one that, they haven't applied for that, so that was just one of the proposed ones.
So all of their plans, Meladon or whoever buys the property is going to have to take into consideration they may have some kind of an easement or
Yeah,
on that property.
Yeah, I think they've already been working on that. They might even receive monies on that as well, already for the easements. Yeah.
So what's the issue with the supervisors that you were talking about just before?
In the Inside Nova, but basically it was, the gist of the story was like basically the Board of County Supervisors bowed out. You can read I was curious if there was any truth to the article and how, what the particulars were, and I guess there was monies that, the bottom line, they don't want Chris Price to go and testify in April, so they felt that, that by pulling out, that
This is weird.
and it was unanimous of all the supervisors too.
Well, it's funny because I thought they provided funding to the coalition.
They did, $50,000 to $60,000,
Yeah.
Mr. Cannon stated.
Isn't
Yeah.
that interesting?
Yeah. One other thing, John Marshall Commons, he mentioned that still kind of up and down. It hasn't gone away, but, when the time comes, he doesn't feel strongly to support either way. Of course, could be a perceived conflict, if not a direct conflict of interest there with him, with the project. So when it comes, he does feel like out of all the plans that were brought forth, this latest one would probably be the best one for, if it was to pass, lower density for townhomes and so on and so forth. But at least the walkability then will come in from that, and all the improvements, the sidewalks will come as well, if that does pass through, as well as the roundabout. One other thing, the big box over at Home Depot is, I think he said he met with them last week. Those plans are still going forward to have that site developed with the Home Depot in it. And I think that was about it for him.
Is that this year? Are they gonna break ground this year?
Wouldn't commit to that,
Okay.
but the discussions are that just, it's being pushed.
Next to Walmart, same side of 55.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and I think that's it, unless anybody else has anything for DVP or, we'll go over to our council member time. Mr. Morse is not here, so we'll go with Councilman Cole.
I got two quick items. Budget workshop was, I thought, really good. I want to commend staff, Roberto, town manager, chief. It was probably the best that I have seen as a first cut draft of the budget. Still work to be done, but I thought it was a very productive, if not long, session. So we're working on that. In conjunction with that, there was some discussion that was held about the town center project and the timing, and possibly next council voting on borrowing the money. What I'd like to see, what we've kind of lost the bubble on a little bit, is a timeline. If we could get a milestone timeline for events that need to happen right up to the point where we would have to vote on borrowing the money. I would kind of like to see when that would take place if everything was in line. Because I know that now we have to finish the plans. Once the plans are finished, we then have to develop an RFP, send out the RFP, give adequate time to respond to an RFP. I mean, all of these actions, and there may be some more actions other council members may want to take, other studies and things. If all of these actions push the decision to take the loan into the next council, so be it. But if not, I just like to keep track of that, otherwise we're going to let time slip away from us. And I really just want to keep this moving along at a minimum. So maybe by April 2nd, if we can, and this is not a real detailed plan, I just, those items that must be accomplished, and when we think that could be done. Is that possible?
I think it's going to depend on how soon I can get Rinker back on board with it.
That's fine. I mean, it's, just as long as we have an idea of
I mean, I
where
think
we
I can
are.
give you a general idea on the timeline to complete the construction documents. If you're going to decide to move ahead with the borrowing, it's something we need to know sooner than later, because that will have to be included in it's not in the budget now per se. Being carried as additional debt service.
Right, it's,
it
and
could-
we won't know what that is until we get bids. So.
True.
So
True.
that to me is really, once we get bids, then we've got to make a decision.
Your bids are going to, once the construction documents are complete and the bids are ready to be, to go on the street, it's probably, you're looking at least 30 days.
Oh, at least, yes.
If
So,
not more, to get that back. So the possibility of getting the bids on the street and getting the bids back by, we're going into April now. You got May and June if you
Right.
want to try to get it done before.
plus we have to evaluate the bids.
You have to evaluate the bids, plus you, again, the debt service, if you need to budget for it, if you want to include it.
So right now on our proposed one, we have about 200,000, so we could separate that
We
back
could
again.
separate that out.
150, 50, something like that.
And, I mean, to be on the safe side, we can do that.
Right.
I can just put it in as 50,000 in additional debt service, which we could move back then to just capital outlay if we don't go with the debt service. It would be a safer approach to it.
Okay, so
Okay.
if we could just get that,
Okay.
that'd be great. And, I mean, you don't have to make a presentation if you just.
No,
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay, that's all I've got. All right, thank you.
Councilwoman Edwards.
I don't really have anything. We have our ARB meeting was canceled yesterday, so it's moved to next Wednesday. And that's it.
Okay. Councilman Leek.
No comments, sir.
All right. Vice Mayor.
A couple of things. I talked to the chief about Braden Falk, young fellow with the brain tumor, going through chemo. He asked for Officer Jake when I mentioned maybe we could arrange a visit. So if you could reach out to that family, that would be wonderful. I want to thank our delegate, Delegate Rome, for her efforts keeping us informed on a lot of issues. I've noticed an uptick in information flow, which I think is very valuable for all of us. I have some prepared remarks. I'm going to wait on most of them until the next meeting. But one thing I'm not going to get into, because I disagree. There are a lot of things I think we need to do going forward before we even think about taking out a loan. But we'll have that discussion another time, like we discussed the other night. But I think it's time we need to take a look at making a decision on our structure here and whether we're going to go with a full-time manager or not. Now, that's not to say I don't love you, Jerry. I think you're doing a great job. But Jerry's a part-time. The mayor is an interim. And we don't have money budgeted for a full-time manager for next year. I think it's really important that we consider taking a look at that sooner rather than later. I don't think it's going to be up to this council to do it, probably next council, but I would certainly urge considering having that money in the budget for a full-time manager. And I'll speak to that a little bit more at our next meeting. Maybe we can even put that on the agenda. And for now, I guess that's it for now.
Okay. Councilman Shannon.
I just have a couple, I want to echo what Councilman Cole said. You know, that was my first real budget in-depth meeting, and I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I found that easy to follow. So if it's easy for me to understand, then, you know, I know you all have it down. I think Roberto is doing magic, and which is a good thing, and under the leadership of Jerry, you know, I was blown away by how much I actually understood what was going on there. I still have more to learn, obviously. I also want to echo, I too, for the last year and a half, between serving with the Planning Commission, as well as having the honor to sit with you all on the town council, I'm anxious to see. I understand and I agree with the Vice Mayor as far as the loans concern. At the same time, I am anxious to see this come to fruition. The wrapping of the building is one thing, but I'm talking about the landscaping and all, to make this just kind of beautify this place for what it signifies anyway. I mean, as far as what this is, the town center. I'm just sorry that as much work as you all have put into this, I'm just sorry that we're not going to see it come to fruition soon enough. We've got a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross, and understand that, but I'm just very appreciative of all the work that the ARB, the Planning Commission, and this town council has done on that, and I look forward to that coming to fruition one day soon. So that's all I have.
Okay. All right, thank you. A couple things that I had, maybe a discussion back on regarding a consent agenda and work sessions. I wanted to just go around the dais to see, is it time to maybe start doing that again? And if we did do it, would we do it before the meeting, or would we do it like a week before and give a chance to settle out? But there's some of the items, I think, that need that work session to air out before having it long meetings. And we did find, when we did do it in the past, that we might have been long meetings for the work sessions, but then it made the actual meeting go really quick, so where the decisions were made. So going around the dais, I just wanted to see, are you in favor, or maybe coming back to that, having a work session and consent agenda?
Work sessions work for me. I think you can hammer out a lot of questions and information, and then, you know, the meeting is really just a decision process. So, and again, work sessions are open to the public, so.
Right. Okay. Councilwoman Edwards, any thoughts?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. Just think everyone should be doing their homework before the meeting, but.
Yep. Okay. Councilman Leek?
Yes, sir, I agree with Councilwoman Edwards. But my take on it is that I think that sometimes it's good to see the interaction of the council being recorded and live with our constituents. I agree with Councilman Cole that the work session is open to the public, but sometimes the public does not have the time or opportunity to be able to get here at such time, or take 2 times out of their month to be able to join us. So I'm open to it, but at the same time, I would lean in favor of just leaving it the way it is. Yes, there are some long meetings, and they take some time, much longer than necessary, but at the time of, we all do our homework, and we can reach out to anybody if we do have clarification questions, but at the same time, we're able to go back and have dialogue with each other in regards to any agenda item.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
I'm a proponent of work sessions. I strongly encourage it. As a matter of fact, that was on my one of my topics I was going to raise at the next meeting, so I'm glad you raised it. Let me just throw a couple of things out here. And by the way, the work sessions are live streamed as well, so if folks can't make the meeting, they can at least participate by observing our discussions. I think it improves team communication. It allows for more discussion about critical, complicated issues. It allows for more time to prepare and consider the issues. It enhances the opportunity for the council to develop the agenda. That's one of the things I think that's really important and lacking. I think the council needs to develop the agenda as well and agree to it prior to the meeting. And I think more importantly, for the next council, I think they're really going to benefit from it. I really think when I first came on in 2014, it was important to have that. And of course, we had long work sessions and we had long meetings. But that's because you had 7 people who were really in the thick of it and having a good time and really eager to learn. So I think the new council would certainly benefit from it, and I would be in favor of starting work sessions again.
Okay, all right. Councilman Shannon.
We're talking about the budget, correct? That we were talking about.
This will be just every month, yeah, instead of having the first Monday, it would be actually probably like the last Monday of the month.
I'm not opposed to work sessions. I too think they're, for me anyway, I can get more out of that, but I'm flexible on that.
All right, great. Okay, well, glad the only person I don't have is Councilman Morris's feelings on it, but I'll reach out to him as well. One other thing is I'm going to institute a Mayor's Volunteer of the Year Award, and there's one particular volunteer that I think has jumped off the page that prompted me to recognize this, and so at the next meeting, I just want to kind of give everyone a heads up that there's someone in particular that I think deserves recognition as volunteering their time for the town. Other than that,
Motion to adjourn?
there we go.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you all.